Yo guys, I hope you're well. So guys, let's talk about the farmers. So yesterday, Keir Starmer cowardly dodged and ducked a cohort of farmers who drove all the way down to Wales in their tractors to try and get some face-to-face time to speak to Keir Starmer about changes to the inheritance tax that came up in the October budget. So Starmer was speaking at the Labour Welsh conference yesterday. I think it was is it Llandudno? I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. And the farmers wanted to have a face-to-face conversation with Keir Starmer just to explain to him how it's going to affect farmers with this inheritance tax price hike. So guys, the campaign name, and I hope I've pronounced this correctly, please forgive me if I'm wrong, is DIGON DIGON. Enough is enough. And guys, truly enough really is enough. So farmers have told Keir Starmer that he is literally biting the hand that feeds the nation, and he is kicking farmers in the teeth whilst they are down on their knees. The inheritance tax changes will negatively affect thousands of farming estates by making it impossible for the farms to remain as going concerns in the family fold, and instead they will have to sell up, breaking the land up into small holdings, unviable and uneconomical to run. Right now, a lot of the farms are being run by farmers who are already well past retirement age, with a view that they will be passed on to their children once they are gone, to continue a seamless and efficient process that serves our country and feeds us well. This has always worked because there was no huge and crippling inheritance tax to be saddled onto those who survived them. However, Rachel Reeves and her new taxes, based on an arbitrary value of farms of over £1 million, are nonsensical and unworkable, and will mean that many farms will have to sell off many of their assets and land to meet these bills at a detriment to the viability of these farms themselves. I keep talking about cause and effect, and this government is causing a lot of damage by not properly investigating the effects of their sweeping new laws on the families, the workers, the production, and eventually on this country itself, who rely on the farms and the farmers to feed us. So guys, I want to check out this video that was shown yesterday on Sky News of the farmers in Wales. But this literally is a precursor to what is going to happen this Tuesday, when all the farmers are coming down to London, to Westminster, to Whitehall to voice their opposition and to voice their disapproval of this inheritance tax that's been foisted on them by Rachel Reeves. So guys, please check out this video, and I might make a few comments as we do. So let's check this video out.
They swapped the fields for the seafront of Llandudno to try to drive their point home. The North Wales town was hosting not only the Welsh Labour conference, but also the Prime Minister, and hundreds of farmers wanted him to know just how upset they are about changes to inheritance tax.
You see that? DIGON DIGON. Enough is enough.
Just want fair play for the farmers. Everything we're doing, it is for our kids. It's their future, and everything is just going against it. This inheritance tax it's ridiculous. It's the final straw.
That guy was almost in tears, and it does bring this home. The farmers literally do feed this nation. We need to be more self-sufficient. So if you are doing basically a land grab on the farmer's land, then there'll be less land to grow on. And remember, in some parts of arable farming and other parts of farming, what they're doing, so for instance with livestock, etc., you need vast areas of land to actually farm on. So if they want to do what they're doing, then it's going to have a negative effect on this population as a whole. I'm positively sure on that. positively sure now. If I could get my teeth to work, I don't know. So, yeah, and do you see the guy is close to tears, and this is their life. This is all they've ever known for generations, and this government is willingly and willing to destroy all of that.
I'm just so emotional. Why do we as farmers have to do this? We shouldn't, you know.
This government needs to realise it's never been hungry since World War II. They're going to be hungry because if they keep putting tax on the farmers, it's going to have a massive impact.
I love what she said. This government needs to realise that this country has never been hungry since World War II, and they will definitely be hungry, because if the farmers strike, and if this government gets its way of basically with the inheritance tax making these farms into smaller and smaller holdings, then we will be hungry. Our production will fall, and we will not be self-sufficient in a lot of products that we do produce. We will have to go further afield at a higher cost to get these products. But I'm glad that this lady said that, because we only started to increase production post World War II. When we were in trouble in the middle of the Second World War, that's when we realised that we had to become more self-sufficient and to grow on the land. And the land started to be farmed. They started to farm the land, which has kept us self-sufficient for the last 80 odd years. But this government is willing, and it's very much looks like it's able to break all of that up and destroy what we've had. I think it's a crazy, crazy, crazy option.
From 2026, farmers will be liable for inheritance tax at 20% on farms worth more than £1 million. They claim it will force many to sell up to pay the bill. In a country where 90% of land is farmed, Keir Starmer made no mention of them today.
Make no mistake, I will defend our decisions in the budget all day long. I will defend facing up to the harsh light of fiscal reality. I will defend the tough decisions that were necessary to stabilise our economy.
I really, really despair when I hear Keir Starmer speak like this. This man is meant to have gravitas. He's meant to be a leader. He really, can this man? Is he merely playing a character? No one can be. He reminds me of someone like Frank Spencer. Do we have Frank Spencer in charge of our country? Is he really, really this blinkered, or is this all just an act? That's what I'm beginning to think, because I think there's an agenda behind this, and the agenda is being driven through via this man and his act.
And I will defend protecting the payslips of working people.
Organisers of the protest said the Prime Minister had been disrespectful.
It's so frustrating that he's run out the back door like a flipping rat. People here have come here to talk to him. They've come here to address their frustrations, and he didn't even have the guts to come and just address them.
Now, if the farmers had used hurty words, or had been politically incorrect, un-PC, or had started to post bits and pieces on the internet, I'm sure Keir Starmer would have come out and met the farmers with the full force of the law against them. It's shocking.
Government claims that only a small number of farms would be affected. Their figures are wrong, according to protesters here. Farmers say this is just the start. Next week, they are planning to hold their first ever strike action, and tens of thousands of them are going to be protesting in London on Tuesday.
So if the farmers go out on strike and start protesting on Tuesday, I'm beginning to think that maybe, and I don't want to say this, but I think I'm going to stock up on my food. Because if they do protest, and the farmers do, and it goes on for a while, there could be a run on food stocks. And this government is really going to feel the force. It's going to feel the force. I'm going to do a shop, I think tomorrow. I think I'm going to do a big shop tomorrow. Farmers
will be withholding meat and crops from supermarkets in the days ahead, and say that if they're not listened to, there will be more action to come.
I love that food does not grow on shelves. It doesn't.
Lisa Dowd, Sky News, North Wales.
That was really interesting. That was really interesting. And so my last words on this, and I need to be very careful what I say, but I believe that this is a complete land grab by the government, and it's a purposeful land grab by the government. There is an agenda to take control of both our land and our food and food production. And this will ultimately lead to the government tightening their grip by controlling the people. I see this as a return of feudal times and feudalism, based on who controls the land in exchange for people's labour. Farmers will be relegated from being landowners to mere workers for the government, and the government will then control our food production and our food supply, which in my eyes equals total control. Whoever is in control has power and the power to control, and that is what this government wants. Total power and total control over the people. If us pesky people dare to complain, post and tweet our dissatisfaction, then guess what? They'll just turn off our food supply. This is basically how they wish to control our freedom of speech on social platforms and even our bank accounts, as Nigel Farage found out recently. Many believe that whoever holds the power is in control. Total control equals total power, and that is what they want. They wish to silence dissident voices by fair means or foul, until there is no opposition to their agenda. Remember, governments are supposed to serve the people, not the other way round. However, there is a conscious drive by this government to have the people get down on our knees and serve this and subsequent governments. They have nothing but contempt for us, the citizens, which they disguise well, and they will not stop until we are battered, bowled, bruised and totally defeated. Guys, let me know down here in the comment section what you think. Do you agree with what the farmers will be doing on Tuesdays? They come up to Whitehall, Westminster, etc., to voice their disapproval and their disagreement to the new inheritance tax, which will be imposed on farms of £1 million and over. And what does this mean for the future for us as a country, as a nation, if the farms are divided up and broken up into small little subholdings, etc.? What will happen to our food production? Will we move from being more or less sufficient in a lot of products and produce to having to go abroad to import food stocks? It's a crazy situation. But if these farmers strike, and the strike goes on for a period of time, it will probably give us a good indication of what life could be like once these inheritance taxes come into law and come into effect. We'll see how it will affect farms and farmers and the arable and the farming land that we've taken for granted for the last 80 odd years. Guys, let me know down here in the comment section. Yes, no, give some alternative viewpoints, but I think Tuesday is going to be really, really interesting. I'll look out for the farmers. I'm supporting the farmers. Enough is enough. Enough is truly enough. And just to, do you agree or disagree? Because I'm always thinking that there is more to this than meets the eye. So on the surface of this, the government is looking to claw back X amount of money from the people, as it always does, and it always wants to. But I think that there's a lot deeper agenda behind this. And I think the agenda is all about power and control. So if they are taking away the land from the farmers and they are becoming the custodians of this land to do with whatever they want to, I think there is definitely going to be a shift in the power base, because this government then will control the land, and the land is what we grow our food on. So if they control the land, they have control, and they have the power, and they have the wherewithal and the means to control the supply and the production and demand of our food. And that is a very, very scary thing. Very, very scary. So I think we need to look at this, and I think every single one of us needs to read up and actually just study up, swat up on what is going on with why the government is looking to impose this inheritance tax on the farmers. Guys, make certain you have a great weekend, what's left of it. Look after yourselves, look after each other, and please come back to the next Urban Vars reaction, guys.